Hey there. I've got so many visiting samples to show you that it took me a minute to get those set up, as well as my next sweater mistake. Anyway, I've got lots of samples to show you, lots and lots, that are going to go back to their respective homes soon. So I'm going to make this episode all about the samples. And I'm Cadence Kidwell. I'm the proprietress here at Fuzzy Goat in downtown Thomasville, Georgia. And you can see all that we have online at fuzzygoatyarns.com. So let's get started. I am wearing the forest shawl. I want to add land to the end. It is one skein of a hella hank. Look how far, look at how big this is. And I've got knots tied in either end. Isn't that fun? Okay. So the hella hanks, we're having our hella hank pop-up shop, but we do usually have hella hanks in the store anyway, just not as many colors as we have right now. Aren't those beautiful? They are 600 yards of merino, cashmere, and nylon. And this particular shawl is designed by Laura Dobratz. And while we have the pop-up shop and you buy something from our Emma's pop-up shop, you can get 30% off on Laura's patterns. I will personally email you that code. And the other thing I want to tell you about this shawl, 600 yards is the amount of yarn that you get in our box of goats, which is on sale right now. And you don't get one giant hella hank, but you get a lot of minis, and they are super fun. And Laura writes a pattern for it every year. So 2 years ago was the forest shawl, and it ended up being a beautiful gradient because you had those different minis, 15 different colors. Super fun to see how people put the minis together or do the box of goats. Emma's team does put the colors in an order that they think is very pleasing, but a lot of you go through and just squish the bags and figure out which ones are the yarn and open them up and put them in the order that they want to be in. I'm talking about you, Betty. Some of you guys open up the whole thing on the first day, which is a lot of fun too, just to know that you do that, right? It's kind of neat. Like, you're an adult. You can do it as you want. You can cheat. Some of you are super disciplined, do one a day, and even others of you put the whole thing aside for January and do when January is a little lackluster. So there you have it. But you always get a pattern, and this is one of the patterns from a previous year. This is now rewritten for just one whole skein, but you can also use these goat cowl sets as well. That would also be beautiful in this, like that. Oh, Ruth is in her cool front porch in Mississippi. Even here in South Georgia, don't ask me in the middle of the day, but this morning you could feel just the slightest bit of lack of humidity, I'll say. Yeah. So you could do these 600-yard pattern samples that I'll show you. You could also do them in these goat cowls. So this is forest. This one here is Along for the Bride. It was it was designed by Laura for her daughter Emma's wedding. And you can use one hella hank as well for that, or you could use some of the minis. So this is Along for the Bride. And this one here is Pulp, P-U-L-P, Culture. And it is also one giant hella hank. I love this little scallopy edge there at the bottom. Laura designs the most beautiful and really knittable patterns. And one hella hank like this one here, Sky High in that blue, would be stunning. And what else have we got over here? Okay, this is also another previously Box of Goats pattern. This one is Heard's the Word. It was last year's, and it is one of those. I love these because I don't have to worry about them rearranging themselves on me. It is one of those cowl bandanas like that. I wore that a couple weeks ago, and it's got this really fun stitch here, the knit one below. And so you can use the hella hanks or the goat samples, the goat kits across there, the goat cowl kits for that. You know me, I like a bunch of color. So I do love this one particular color, but I would love using the different sets there. So that was also in a box of goats. And what started it all with Laura in the pattern was the goat cowl, which is one of their most if not the most popular cowl here. And it kind of is like a cozy, comes down around your shoulders, and see this nice gradient there. And that's what started all these kits here. So that's the goat cowl originally debuted. So that's at least 3 that have debuted in our box of goats. So those are the samples that Emma's Yarns has sent us for our pop-up. We didn't have all of them when we first got started, first time I showed you the pop-up. So I wanted to show you those. And then we're going to spin around over here to our lovely display that Madeline has set up for us of the Mitchell Yarn Company. Our previous episode told you more about the yarn, and all our different colors of our DK and fingering have come. And so it's super cute and beautiful and oh so squishy. And I'm going to show you the sweater that started it all. So there's 2 things that drew us into their booth in the market. And one was this bag, this beautiful bag. And the other was this sweater, which Melissa and I saw at many different booths. This is the Robinia Light, and it is in the Mitchell DK. Susan saw it yesterday and already got started on hers, getting the yarn together. And because we had the sample, so not only could we squish the yarn, this is a non-superwash yarn, which doesn't come around very often. It's harder to find and even harder for it to pass our softness test. This is so squishy, both in the skein, but also knitted up. And we just love it. And look how classic this is. We saw this in lots of, with the classic ivory with the navy, but also reversed was pretty. And then also you could do it in the, like Madeline might do piglet and lamb together and put that in there. So we definitely wanted to show you that sample because we only have it for just a little bit. And they sent us 2 other fun things. These little socks, and you could use that non-superwash sock yarn there. Look at with the color work and everything in it. And these are called Sweet Candy Socks. And they knit up the sample a little bit reversed so that you could see both. I feel like there's probably a mitt pattern that goes with that, right? Because I feel like these should be little mitts. And they are lovely and squishy, and that is the Sweet Candy Socks. And then they also sent us a hat. Oh, here's the hat. Okay. They sent us a hat. This is Jessie Maid's pattern, and it's a great gingham hat, and great is GR8. We have the links to all these at the yarn and this pages. And this is use 3 colors of the DK to make that gingham. Really just lovely, squishy. Oh, just love this yarn. So we got those samples, and I wanted you to see those. I'm now going to spin around another time, and we're going to go look at the Manos samples because we only have those for a limited time also. Part of it is they are ready for them to have them back. And the other part is we are another 2 weeks from today. Oops. We're celebrating our Fuzzy Turns 10 celebration, and we're going to need some space for Copper Corgi. But so let's look at these new samples that Manos let us borrow for a short time. Let's start with these sweet mitts here. This is what we like, is a fingerless mitt around here. And it is the Martine mitts, and it uses Pheno. And we have that pattern link at the Pheno page. And it looks super matching with this hat, which is the Martine hat. Little tiny cables in there. You could do those cables without a cable needle, because Pheno also will stay there in its little head while you go and grab it back up. It's not going to like dribble all down. So you could do those cables without a needle, without a cable needle. Let's see. We have this one also. I don't think I showed you this one before. This one is the Sygnus, S-Y-G-N-U-S, and it uses the Sammy and the Marla, and it's knit as a tube. So all knitting, no purling, and would be really cute in the winter, right around your neck like that. I like the way the colors go from one to the other. I'm going to go in no particular order except when I see the sample. So the yarns will be going back and forth from the yarns. This beautiful piece here is also in Fino, and it is Sandalo by Karina Ferguson and one skein of Fino. I love a generous skein because when you can make one nice size shawl out of it, that's really great. So this one is really pretty with that spine down the middle and those. It's got texture to it and lace. See if I get a little closer, you can see. Nice? Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'll just put that in the back, and that way I'll know where to stop and start. Whoops. Guess that one fell off, so I'll put that one back later. Okay. This one's really pretty. This one uses Fino and then a mini set of Finos. And whoo, look at that. Oh, that's fun. This is the Flora scarf. And yeah, one big Fino and then a mini skein set also. And I like how Lisa, who wrote the pattern, has it. It's not just chevron all the way through. I mean, it is the chevron, but the size of the stripes change as they go through there. Yep. Yep. So Rita says she loves larger shawls. She has a hard time with the smaller ones staying on. I agree. I like to tie knots in them and they kind of hang there. But I'm also a big fan of like a shawl pin or something else to hold it together. And we're on the hunt for some new ones for you guys. All right, now put that one back there. And Fino, see, Fino has lots of yardage in it. Fino has 490 yards. So that's how you can get so much. And then the Hella Hanks have 600. This one is 2 skeins of Fino and it's brioche. I do love me some brioche. I keep saying that. I think I need to get another brioche pattern started because I've been having some trouble with my sweaters, and I'll show you. Though I do have a way out of my. I always have a way out of my trouble. This is Churros, also by Lisa Myers, and it is a great way to do brioche because it's 2 colors, so you can see the difference in the stitches, and then there's no fancy increases and decreases that make it all filigree, which also make brioche lovely, but this one would be a great one to start with. And the other thing that's great about it is it's completely reversible. That's what's really nice. So you don't, when you just throw it on, you don't have to rearrange yourself, which I always like because I'm kind of, what do I say, a sloppy dresser? I don't really mean I'm sloppy, but I move around and stuff gets rearranged and I'm like, oh, the next thing I know, I got the wrong side facing out. This is 2 skeins of DK. This is with Marla and Sammy. And so you could really use a lot of our other DK as well. But this shows you how that Marla that is marled like that. My phone is trying to tell me something different here. Away. And how it knits up in a longer span in there. So it's really beautiful. So that's a really nice DK shawl, good size as well for Rita and I. And here we have a sweater that Manos sent to us. This one is First Crocus. And you could do this all in one color. This is Elizabeth Smith, isn't it? Yeah, you'll recognize her style. But it's nice when you do break it up and then have this band at the bottom. I love a split hem. And then you have these little V's that do show up nicely in this lighter color. So that's a great use of this linen merino yarn that has, you know, that little bit of heathering to it there. This is a great pattern. This would be a good layering piece too. Yeah. Hi, Diane. I am wearing the forest shawl, and we will have the link for that set up at the Emma's Hella Hank. Well, actually, it's already there, but I will point that out. This one, I do love. This one is also in Milo, which is the linen and merino, right? Do I have that? Did I leave any other fibers out? That's right, linen and merino. This one is using also 2 colors, but you could do it all in one. And it just has a lovely hand to it. I don't often see a shawl that has this much stockinette, but it's really pleasing. I like how it just looks comforting. What's the word I want to use? Cozy. Nice way to add some color. And then it's got this repeat of the pattern in both places. But because of the construction, even though it's stockinette, it's not going to curl, which is a really great thing. This one's called Daffodil Days by Elizabeth Smith. Yep, that's pretty. Oh, and this poncho. I showed you this before, and I know I've shown you most of these, but since we're going to have to pack them up soon, I wanted to make sure. In case you didn't see them before, you saw them now. And this one is called Leafing Out, also by Elizabeth Smith. And this poncho, let me get it on here so that you can see. It's got a border all the way around that you pick up the stitches and do that. And then I like this lace section that you got down in here, down it there. And just the slightest bit of a cowl neck, which is really nice. I don't like a lot of stuff up around my neck. Yeah, that's lovely. And and Milo is a sport weight yarn. So it's not too heavy, not too thick. All right, let's get these going. I'll put that there for now. Another sweater. This one, last time I showed it to you, lots of people wanted to make this right away. This is the Galaxy sweater, made in DK, made in Sammy and Marla. And it just has a really great, lovely squishy feel to it. And then down at the bottom. So it's a classic raglan sweater, but simply and so you could do this technique to lots of sweater patterns, the weekender or so forth. Especially if you think you're getting ready to do it, you're knitting out your stash, you don't have enough yarn. Look, she did the bottom half and the sleeves in a completely different yarn. It all turned out fine. Right? Look at that. So that was probably designed that way for the sweater, but you could do that in your own sweaters, even if that's not the original design. This one, Madeline took a beautiful picture of, and this is also one skein of Fino, along with a mini set, and it's the Trolley Tracks cowl. Lots of slip stitches, so color work that's really easy. And so you're not, even though it has lots of colors in it, you're not working with all those colors at one time. That's really pretty. And let's see, we got 2 more over here. And if you're still with me at the end, I'll show you my sweater mistake. This one is the Charnley scarf, also by Lisa Myers, and one Fino and a Fino mini set. And I love how Lisa starts or ends with big chunks and then goes to smaller stripes of the same color. It's very geometric, very modern. Would be a lot of fun to wear. In fact, I might put that on for you in just a moment. And this is our last cowl here. This is the Zelda cowl, and it is also one Fino and a mini set, and it looks like it is all garter stitch. So how fun is that? So Nancy loves the one with the pink. So let's see. Let's try that on, Nancy. I might like to wear that today. Yeah. So let's see. Let's get this going here. Oh yeah, this is. And Fino is one of my favorites because it has a little bit of silk in it. Oh, look at that. Quick dresser. Maybe I'm a quick dresser, or I'm not a particular. Maybe that's the word rather than sloppy. Yeah. So this again is the Charnley scarf. So I showed you a lot of samples, and we didn't stop to really admire the yarn. So we're happy to put the different ones together if you want to text us and say, okay, well, I'm interested in the Charnley, but what is the mini skein set that you have that would go with the pheno and so forth, and we'd be happy to do that for you. So I love giving you inspiration. So, and along with inspiration, I want to give you the inspiration to, you know, what happens when you mess up on your sweater. And I realized that, yes, this is the second mess up I've had in as many months. Okay, do I have my pattern in here? I do. I am working on Halu. I Love It by Caitlin Hunter. The Bloom sweater. Sally wants to see the Bloom sweater. Was that be the one that had the first crocus, maybe? That's this one here. That might be what you mean, because I don't think we have a Bloom sweater. But I'll keep looking, Sally, and you can text us, and we'll see if I get that sorted out. Okay, so I'm using Copper Corgi Sport, a Gochi Sport named after a swamp that's near Savannah, between Savannah and here. And so it's a sport, and the pattern called for a DK. Oh, but you know, just like you guys, I had a lot of, I had my heart set on using this color. This is our Rosabili color. And Sally, I'll try to remember to get back to you. This one here, this is navy and marled. So that's that, and it is the Galaxy sweater. So I tried to, Melissa and I did some really great math, and, that was working out. I figured out what size I needed to make to match my gauge and all of that. Then I knit all my lace, and it got ready, which I do believe my lace will show up even more when it's blocked. But yes, I did kind of push the envelope of a variegated and a lace pattern. But I believe after I've blocked it and I'm wearing it, you'll see. But okay, so I divided for my sleeves. I'm like, this is fabulous. I go around and I'm like 13 stitches short. I'm like, what did I do? So I brought it in. Melissa and I were studying it. 13 stitches is exactly one of these repeats. I still don't know how I left out. How do I leave out a whole repeat? I must have not increased somewhere before or after the repeat started. I'm not really sure. So I have two options. I can rip back my lace. That's maybe for me, maybe 2 weeks of knitting. Not the worst thing in the world. Again, that's why you use yarn you love. But I have it right now. No, my needles are not that big, but this is a little reason why I was late coming on. I have this on a stitch holder right now, and my stitch stopper came off of it. So let me see if I can make that a little bit more secure. Okay. And I'm going to try it on for you, because before I make my decision about what I need to do, because I could also increase now. So let's see. This is my front marker. Yes, that's my front marker. These are my sleeves, and it is an oversized sweater. So I think this part is fine. I don't think I have to rip back to get another repeat in here. Now, I do want to make sure my repeats, my laces, I'm going to spend some time making sure that my laces are lining up where they're supposed to. You know, I don't want like one kind of like that's supposed to be here or two equally on either side. I don't want that to be all off center. So that might be my only other deciding factor. But I think now if I just add those 13 stitches in, I went back last night. I went knowing I was going to show it to you this morning, went back and took it off these divide for the sleeve. So I'm back to a clean row again. And I could, like Sherry's saying, just add those as I go and get those back in. That's exactly, Nancy, what I believe I'm going to do. But before I make that one final commitment to going ahead with that, I am going to lay it out and spread out my lace enough to make sure that the lace sections are lining up with these dividing pieces. Because let's see, as you can see, there is a system to it, you know. And poor Caitlin, she did all the work to design this beautiful pattern where everything lines up beautifully. And I'm like, what did I do? So see, there's always a solution. Yes, regrettably, I might have to rip back. I don't have to go back into the ribbing. Still not sure how I left out those increases, what I was doing. I just get distracted, just like you guys. So, I like showing you what I do and making my mistakes, because maybe it lets you know that it's okay to make these mistakes. All right. Yes. And Arva, I do love that color. Okay. Somebody wanted to see another sample in here. And let me see if I can go back. The name of the shawl you showed with the lace pattern, I will make a stab at it and think that it was probably this one here, Sandalo. Oops, that's the back side. And here's the front side here. So there you go. Isn't that pretty? Maybe I'll wear that today. So many options. So let us know how we can help you out. Thanks for weighing in on my knitting. And we're just so grateful that we get to do what we do every day for you. And also a little note that we are honored to be a donation site for Warm the Line. And its initiative that provides homemade mittens, scarves, and hats to people that need to stay warm as they wait outside to vote, which is really hard to believe right now that it may actually be cool enough to need those things just a few short months away, but it will be happening soon enough. So if it's a valiant focus on bipartisanship and just encouraging people to vote, and we take ours to the Episcopal Church of the Good Shepherd here in Thomasville, and they have food pantry patrons that they share them with. So we hope that you have some hats and mitts that maybe you no longer need, or you're looking for a reason to knit right now. So thank you so much for letting us come into your phone right now, and we are here to help you out. Thanks.